Hi guys, Mr. Mackey here. Now, yesterday we were looking at the area of triangles, and the challenge I set you yesterday was to find out which triangle has the bigger area, A or B. Now here's how we find the area of A. What you need to do is you need to know, the only thing to help us find it is that these all have 60 degrees. Now because these angles all have 60 degrees, that means this triangle is an equilateral triangle, which means that every side will be equal. Which means that this side will be 8 metres and this side will be 8 metres. Now that we know what the base is and what the height is, we can find the area. So 8 times 10 gets you 80, and then 80 divided by 2 gets you 40 metres squared. So how do we find the area of this triangle? Well, we need to find this baseline, and because it's a right angle triangle, we need to do Pythagoras. So you do 13 squared, which is 169. Take away 25 squared, which is 25, to get 144. And then you divide, and then you root 144 to end up with 12 metres. Then to find the area, you need to do 5 multiplied by 12, which gets you 60, divided by 2, and that will then get us an area of 30 metres squared. So the triangle that has the bigger area is A. Now we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. Still focusing on area, but we're looking at far more complex shapes. Let's see. So how do we find the area of a compound shape, like this one? Well, the trick for this is you need to be able to split it into two other shapes that you do know how to find the area of. Now this is an L shape, so it looks like we could make two rectangles from this. Now the good news about compound shapes is it doesn't matter how you split it, which rectangles you make from it. What's important is you at least understand how to find the areas from that, and you still get the same area. So I'm going to split it so it goes this way. So we have rectangle number 1 and rectangle number 2. So what is the how do we find the area of rectangle number 1? Well, we need to know the base and the height. The base is 4 because it's seen from up there. And the height is 7 because that's the only section that we're taking into account. So to find the area of this, we do 4 times 7, and that gets us 28 metres squared. So how do we find the area of this one? Well, we know our base, which is 10, and our height, which is 5. So we do 10 times 5, and that gets us 50 metres squared. So how do we find the overall area of this compound shape? Well, what you do is you have your 28, you have your 50, add them together. So we do 28, add 50, and that will get us our total area, which is 78 metres squared. Now it's a similar shape to before, so we do need to have a similar method to find the area. The problem is we need to go one step back, because in this one we don't know all the sides of the shape, and we need to find them all to work out the area. So how do we find this missing side here? Well, we know that this segment represents 5 centimetres, this segment represents 7 centimetres, and this line represents the 5 and the 7 put together. So that means that this line will be 12 centimetres long. What about this line here? Well, that line, add the 10 centimetres there, would make the 16 centimetres here. So that added together, that means the missing line is 6 centimetres. Now we have the sides to find the area. So let's split it into two shapes we know. Now in the earlier video, I did it so I dotted the line out here. I'm now going to dot it so it's like this. So how do I find the area of this shape, which is A? Well, I have my base, which is 5, and my height, which is 16. So 5 times 16, that gets us 80 centimetres squared. What about this one? Well, we have our base, which is 7, and our height, which is 6. And multiply them together, that gets us 42 centimetres squared. So how we find our area is we do 80, add 42, and that will get us 122 centimetres squared. Now I know this isn't an L shape, but this compound shape still has two shapes that we know how to find the area of. This forms a triangle, and this forms a square. How I know it's a square? Because all of these sides are 7 metres, and if they are all the same, then this side will also be 7 metres. So I'm going to draw this dotted line just to represent this means 7 metres. So let's find the area of this shape where we do 7 times 7, base times height, and that gets us an area of 49 metres squared. So how do I find the area of the triangle? Well, we do 7 times 9, which gets us 63. Then we divide our 63 by 2, which gets us, I'm doing it to decimal places, not to fractions, because it's easier, 31.5 metres squared. So now we can add it. So let's do our 31.5, add 49.0. That gets us 80.5 metres squared. Now here's your challenge for today. Very similar to yesterday's challenge. I have 2 shapes. One is A, one is B. And I want you to find for me which shape has the bigger area. They're both compound shapes. You need a bit more mathematical knowledge from previous videos to work these out, but I have taught you them. I have done it all this week. So, what do you need to know to help find the missing sides? And how do these missing sides help? And then what do we need to split the shapes into to find the area of the compounds? So, good luck with these. Let's bring on tomorrow's video. Have fun. Have a good day, guys.